Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This week we're going to take a look back at some of the best stories told by our observers. These men and women often take risks to send us their photos and videos, which they hope will bring about change in their countries. Sometimes, as you'll see, they succeed. After the end of the civil war in Ivory Coast, the authorities' first priority was restoring order. For a while, the military patrolled the streets and even went into schools. But having soldiers in schoolyards did not sit very well with some Ivorians. In Abidjan, a father tells us how soldiers crossed the line at his child's school.
I got home one day and my son came up to me. He said he has something to show me. He pulled out his mobile and showed me the video. It showed a high school principal beating a kid. There were two armed men helping him, members of the Republican Guard. My son explained that kids from another high school had come to set off firecrackers on the property of the Voltaire School. Today in Abidjan, you see former rebel soldiers everywhere. A lot have become security guards for businesses, for banks, and even for schools, it seems. These soldiers might have been guards at the school, or maybe the principal called them in to help. I can't say for sure. It's bad enough that they're in the school at all, but to see them holding these kids down, holding their feet, it looks like even tying them down. That's no good. It's completely unacceptable. As a father myself, a parent of a teenager, I'd never let something like that happen to my son, no matter what he'd done. The law is the law. It's made for everyone. And a principal shouldn't be beating children. At least it was caught on tape, well, on someone's mobile phone. New technology has become a tool for documenting abuse like this. Anything can happen in this kind of situation.
After this report was aired last January, Ivory Coast's Education Ministry announced that the school's headmaster was relieved of his duties. Though they haven't succeeded in toppling the country's monarchy, protesters continue to hit the streets on a regular basis in Bahrain. Shiites, who represent the majority of the population, say they are discriminated against. To tame these protesters, the country's Sunni leaders have the police use tear gas rather than bullets. But our observer Anmar says this is only slightly better.
After the protest started last February and several protesters were killed, the regime came under intense international pressure. That's why they stopped using live bullets and started using tear gas and stun grenades. They use so much tear gas that residents have had a hard time breathing, even if they're inside their own homes. Sometimes you step outside and you have to turn around because there's so much gas in the air. It can cause traffic accidents too. And we're worried about the long-term effects on our health. We learned a lot from the Egyptian revolution. We know that baking soda and milk can offer protection, for instance. That worked in the beginning at least, but for the last 2 or 3 months they've been using new types of gas that are even more powerful.
Zoos may never be much fun for the animals locked inside them, but some are vastly preferable to others. One of our observers in Saudi Arabia, Layla, is going to show us around the Abu Jara Zoo in Riyadh, a place she's nicknamed the Zoo of Horrors.
The animals are kept in very small cages. For example, the large grizzly bear is kept in one of those cages, and it doesn't even have space to lie down properly. It's just a plain cage. There's no activities. There's nothing soft for the animal to lie on. There's no water available or food. There's no protection from heat or cold, and they're never let out of the cages at all. The animals are pacing around the cages back and forth, especially the more active animals like the hyenas and the coyotes. And most of the animals there look like they're very depressed. They're not moving much. I would not describe it as a zoo. I would describe it as a prison. or torture yourself. I felt very sad and angry that how could this be happening in Saudi Arabia, since Saudi Arabia is an Islamic country and Islam teaches kindness towards all living beings and animals. And so I feel that it's a shame and an embarrassment to Saudi Arabia that something like this is going on here.
That's it for this week. But as always, you can find more reports from our observers online, on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time.